Go live. Yep, there we go. Let me see if there we go. Excellent. All right. Hello and welcome, folks, to a Thursday night of talking about velocity banking, the financial strategy that can take your personal situation to the next level. My name is Ray Fleming, and along with me is Richie GP. Hello, Richie.
What's up?
I am doing great because you know why? We are the wise guys in ties. So what do the wise guys in ties do? We bring the knowledge to you so you can make decisions for yourself and your family that maybe weren't the ones you were learned in school. Now, we do talk a lot about finances, but it's always important that when we're having these discussions, these are general information in scope. So we always recommend you have a phone call with us, or you hire the professional that's needed dealing with the certain financial strategy that you're working with. Absolutely. And so, Antonio Rodriguez, hey, how are you doing? It has been a long time. We're back. We're bringing the lives back. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Cecilia, hello from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks for being here, everybody, on YouTube and Zoom. And so today is super exciting because just recently, our good friend Richie here, who has been teaching and training on this topic for years now. Let's see, about what, eight or 9 years?
A little over 9 years now.
A little over 9 years is when you first started diving deep into this and helping other people structure it. And then you got into business and you started to create some wealth for yourself. And you built a new plan that was revolving around the life in Hawaii, which all of us know that that doesn't really cost anything because it's the cheapest place to live.
Right.
With your $12 gallons of milk. I don't know how much they are. No, they're not that crazy out there yet, are they? No.
Yeah, they are. Actually, depending on which type of milk you get. Like, you get the ones with the good milk. And when I say good milk, it's like less sugar, more taste. Then yeah, you're about spending around like $11 to $12 for the gallon.
So over the last 6 years, Richie has put together a plan, right? You put together this new plan about 6 years ago, and it was fully encompassing of his businesses and everything like that. And this is what you help everybody each and every day work, right? You help them work a plan.
Yes. And that the plans that we came up with always was focused on the individual. Much like myself, I have my own plan. And keep this in mind. Like, we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about my plan from 6 years ago, coming into fruition at this point. Now, this is just a milestone in the journey. All right. There's a lot more to go. But it's really, really exciting to see it's really exciting to see something go according to plan. Right, Ray?
Absolutely. And the thing is, whenever I want to follow a path of success, I want to make sure that the person that I am following is heading in that direction. And so I've been following you for a while, Richie. You've been helping Joseph and I for years now. And it's good to see that you were hitting those milestones. Like, I don't want to be following somebody that hasn't actually done, it's one thing to teach theory. It's another thing to actually implement this and achieve it. And you're, I would say, one of the only people I know on YouTube right now talking about velocity banking who's actually implementing velocity banking and achieving real results. So tell us about, let's just start from the beginning, because you did hit this huge milestone and what is that huge milestone?
Being 100% debt free.
Not a single debt.
Not a single debt. Not one, personally. Okay. I got to say personally, because there is some, a little bit of business stuff going on, which is like about to set the next phase up. It's still in the bank. I still haven't borrowed yet against the business, but it's about to. But until then,
let's get a little
100%.
clarification on that. As my good friend Dave Ramsey would say, don't use any credit cards yet. Dave Ramsey uses a lot of credit cards in his business. So business is an entity that operates, and obviously it needs financial leverage to achieve. And since you're a real estate investor and your business currently has a massive, fix and flip running and rental properties and this and that, there's strategic business debt. But what we're talking about is you personally have no debt anymore.
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely. And I'll be honest with you too. The business is 100% debt free right now. It's just that it's about to go into a little bit of debt to fire on a fix and flip. So yeah, I am and my business right at this moment on what is this, March 31st, 2022 at 4:22 p.m. Hawaii time. We are 100% debt free.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks. So, this is this is something that's been on my mind as far as this plan goes. Again, it's part of the process, but it's always so nice. You hit these milestones and all of a sudden you're like this, right? Like you see this, let's see, there it is. Kaboom. This is actually a really cool art piece that I found at a store, and I picked it up and I'm like, that speaks so much volumes. When I heard about Velocity Banking, I was just like, I was just over there, drinking a coffee, and then all of a sudden, kaboom, somebody blew me away with the numbers. And that's what made me get on this, this path. So yeah. So right now, feeling like this all over again, because again, the plan is working. And so if you guys have been following us for this past, year and a half now, almost 2 years, it seems, from these masterminds that we've been doing together, Ray.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys. I would have been doing this plan with or without Wise Guys and Ties, because it's been something that's been in the process for a very long time. It's just that, Ray and Joey says, I kind of got that sense. It's like, you're on this journey, tell the story to other people, so that way they can, jump on and start making it work for themselves as well. And so here we are telling the story over and over again, almost every week for the last year. We've gone through so many different strategies, so many different we started with the basics. We started with how to move money, how to apply for the lines, how to position yourself to get to the point where you can use bank product against bank product, and trying to dispel all the myths and the fears around credit and debt itself. So when I started really embracing debt, the 4-letter word that a lot of people can't, they're afraid of it and they don't want it. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was brought up that way too, but one day I read in The Gratitude Effect. This is a book by Dr. John Demartini, where he says that you got to find gratitude in everything, even the hardest things. And one of those things is debt. And what really flipped my switch was when he said that the bank is investing in you. The money that they are using and giving to you to utilize to create something good for yourself, whether it be an instant feeling like, shopping or a trip or something like that, or putting it to work and making it work for you and your family, or making it work for the betterment of human beings. It could be so many different things. It's up to you on what you do with that money that the bank invests in you. So they are your investor. You are the entrepreneur and they're the investor. So why not treat it that way? Why not always think that way about the bank? Why not always feel like, you know what, I got into this debt, but man, am I so grateful for all the cool things that helped, that debt helped me do, whether it be survive a trying time or have an amazing trip with my family, or, experiencing something as simple as a video game. It's a life experience that you will not be able to return, right? Thing is, though, now that the bank has invested in you, what are you going to do for the bank? And so that's where a lot of people get stuck. And so they feel like they get stuck in this whole, I got to pay the bank back. I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, yeah, because they're your investor. And what they did was they invested in you and trusted you to do something cool, to make it a win-win solution. And so if you don't have a plan, of course it's going to be a bad word. Of course it's going to be a 4-letter word. If you don't have a plan and you get yourself into debt and you have no way out, or you don't have a plan in place to satisfy your investor, then you're going to have a bad time. So we don't want you to have a bad time. We want you to have a plan. We want you to, lay it out, give yourself those milestones that you want to hit to your ultimate goal. And of course, that's totally up to you on what that is. My ultimate goal was always to be, the most amazing real estate investor for my family. So that way we can be basically financially free and do what we want, when we want, how we want. And, this milestone is a very, very big turn. Well, a very big mountain in our, in our path. And, from here, it's just going to get better and better, only because there's so many really cool things we get to utilize, such as all those lines that have opened up are now going to be free to grow the wealth even more. All the credit scoring. I've talked about this before, and I have this little video clip that I should actually share with you, Ray, to put on the YouTube channel about how I feel about credit scores. It's actually a really cool, really fun video, actually. And it talks about, what are you going to do with that great credit score? Are you going to let it sit on the shelf and collect dust, or are you going to utilize it to make something better? So, again, that's that part of I'm the entrepreneur, and the bank is going to invest in me using that credit score to do something really cool. Then go ahead and do it. But do you know how to do that cool thing? That's another, that's a whole other direction. That's a whole other education, right? So whether it be your plan to do crypto or work really hard at your job and kill it over there, or get into real estate investing like me and Ray, whatever that possibility is, get really good at it. So that way, when the time comes to make that big milestone jump and you have all this availability of investment and capital to take advantage of it and make your dreams come true, be ready for it, because it's going to come. And mine came in 6 years, which is really, 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 really crazy to me. So again, this is how I'm feeling right now. I don't know if you noticed it, but that's how I'm feeling right now. So I'm super excited. And we got a lot of things. And Ray, I've been focusing my attention, my next steps in certain places. But one thing I haven't talked about was me and my wife were talking about it. It's like, we need to talk to you and your 1,000-door project. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. And it's talk to us, because, you can only go so far as an individual, but when you work together, you can go a lot further.
Exactly.
So, yeah, absolutely. I am very open to sitting down and talking about that.
Thank you. Oh, I'm very excited about that.
Because that's really what it comes down to, obviously. I mean, the Velocity Banking implementing the strategies is to kind of get back to some kind of base level, so you can continue to expand more investments and acquire more properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, let me show you that journey, let me show you the roadmap on how it looked like. It's a very simple, I guess you could say, drawing. I'm just going to draw it out. And is it okay if I share my screen right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, excellent. So these are the things that were on my list of things to get rid of. So my personal home debt, there are investments in play already, but I have virtually no debt in them right now, which is great. They're just full on equity, right? That's a beautiful feeling. And the journey started with, I wanted to, let me see if I can draw. My journey started technically 9 years ago. So when I was looking at, learning velocity banking in the first place, this is when I learned velocity banking. Okay. 9 years ago, I had this plan, and that consultation said that your plan is going to take about, I think it was 12 to 13 years to be debt free. Believe it or not, that was my first consultation. Okay. Now, why is this so important? Well, the fact of the matter is I needed something drawn out for me. I wasn't smart with money. I still feel like I'm not smart with money, just being real with you guys. And the fact of the matter is I felt like I needed to team up with somebody to put me on the right path. And so that's what my first consult did. It put me on a path of possibility. It was amazing to see that I could be debt free in 12 to 13 years. That is crazy awesome. Okay. And I know that a lot of people have been watching a lot of velocity banking things out there saying, oh yeah, it's going to take you about 7 years or whatever. There's never a promise on when you will be debt free when you start looking at this plan. And you're probably looking at somebody else's example in the first place anyway. You should be focusing on your numbers. And when you focus on your numbers, then you'll actually have a roadmap. Okay. Which is what me and Ray now provide for people. So I learned this 9 years ago, but the thing is though, during that roadmap, I diverted. I went this way and said, you know what? I'm no longer going to work in my 9-to-5 job. I'm going to start looking at real estate investing because that is where it's at. This was 3 years later. Meaning 6 years ago. Okay. Now, I apologize for my awesome, horrible handwriting, but I still try to get used to this thing. So yeah. So I decided to divert myself to this area of, I'm going to get into real estate investing instead of sticking to my job. If I stuck to this, my regular job, this is with my W-2. Keep that in mind. This 12 to 13 years, that's with my W-2, no real wealth building plan in place. It's just straight up, I'm going to get out of debt. And that was it. When I started really focusing on, if I'm going to get into real estate investing, then I could actually go beyond this. I could go beyond just debt free. I could do some other things. I could make some really cool things happen aside from being debt free. And then as that road went on, I'll just be honest with this. My debt started climbing. It went down and then it started climbing up again, only because I knew as a real estate investor, this was necessary. Okay. The debt climbing was necessary because I wanted to play the game. I wanted to get into real estate investing and start playing that cash flow game. Buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, get some more cash flow, and then, see what happens. Come up with all these really cool strategies beyond just debt free. So as my debt climbed, my cash flow increased dramatically as well. So keep that in mind. Even though my debt climbed, my cash flow stayed above it. So this is my cash flow as we went. Now, this is where things started going really neat for us. About 2 years ago, we started seeing some shifts in values and activity in real estate investing. Did we not? Things started shifting as far as, property values and the ease of selling homes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and this is something that you'll never, ever be able to predict. We don't know the future. We don't have a crystal ball, but what we can do is be ready for the future if the opportunity comes up. If it went downhill, be ready for it. If it went uphill, be ready for it. If it stagnated, be ready for it. It's always about running the numbers and making your decisions in a binary sense based on the numbers to fire at will when it comes down to it. And so what started happening was debt started coming back down, which is a great, great thing for me. Now, by the way, this is we're done looking at this, right? We're done looking at this 12 to 13 year debt-free W-2 thing. We're now in the business of real estate investor and entrepreneur. And this is my my 6 year 6 year area where we're at right now. So March 31st, 2022. Okay. So as debt started dropping down, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's use it again. And let's bring it back down, and let's do it again, and let's bring it back down. Let's do it again. Let's bring it back down. So I always played with debt. Debt was over here. It was never going below this line right here for a while. And then eventually, here's today, 100% off. Why am I talking about this journey? Well, this journey, again, these are just milestones of my journey. This right here was a milestone. Actually, this right here was another milestone because it's one of my bigger deals that went really well. Same thing for over here, same thing for over here. You know, you see these little peaks and valleys. Well, that's the journey that we're on. And does it look like I was ever bored, Ray?
No, not at all. Like in the ups and downs of business ownership and entrepreneurism, it is never a dull moment.
So imagine, do you think, as a person that I am right now, do you think I would have been able to handle this right here, this line, this stagnation, this simple roadmap for myself? Probably not. Not the way you see me now. Not after learning what I've learned. The reason why the shift happened was because I learned something new. I learned how to grow wealth. Okay. But not only was it just growing wealth, it was using these peaks and valleys as a tool, this debt as a tool, using velocity banking as a tool to get to where I'm at right now. Okay. Now, keep this in mind. If I wanted to quit right now and just go back to work, I could, and I could go back to this stagnation from here on out and, you know, make that boring life, that comfortable life, 100% out of debt, great credit score, got a lot of cash, you know, just sitting, absolutely doing absolutely nothing right now for these last few days or last week or so. You know, so there's just so many different things that are attacking me right now with pins and needles. What I mean by that is I want to take action on so many things right now, but because things haven't really flattened out yet, especially with the move from here to Beaverton, Oregon, you know, that's one of those things that's gonna, you know, settle me down, you know, and be like, calm down, Richie. Don't take those huge steps yet. Let's just make sure that we, you know, take care of the family first, make sure that everything is settled over there, and then let's start. This is going to be a huge jump start into the next venture of our business. And that's going to happen in June. So am I prepared for it? Absolutely. I am so prepared for it right now, but gosh, do I want to take the jump right now? It's just that I got to wait for my kids to, you know, get out of school first. So that's the agreement that me and my wife have. Now, so here we are, and keep this in mind. This is probably going to play, you know, probably gonna have to play with this all over again, you know, do this, but probably a lot less now, not having to go to these huge valleys here anymore. Just smaller peaks and much bigger valleys, you know, as far as income goes. Because again, I have a plan. and I'm going to stick to this plan. I am not going to divert from this plan unless something very major shifts my plan, shifts my goal, shifts my everything else. And I don't see anything happening anytime soon. It's just that I got to be prepared for any other opportunity that comes up to get me to where I want to go ultimately. Okay. So when we have our purpose, right? And when we have our life's purpose, which is, wherever that road ends, I don't know. This is just going to go on forever, because keep this in mind, even though after I'm gone, my plan is still going to keep going. There's a big difference between retiring and and retiring then dying, or working then dying then still working. There's a very big difference in that. And I want to retire. My soul is going to keep working through my children, through the business that I create, and everything like that. So many different things that are happening right now. So when we have this going on, beyond March 31st, and this is the 6th year, I almost guarantee you that even though our debt will climb again, it's going to be way more efficient than it was these last 6 years. Okay, because we just started our business, right? Not too long ago. When I say not too long ago, 6 years is not a long time. Maybe to the bank, according to the bank, as far as business credit goes, 2 years is long enough for you to be trusted with their investment. But for me, I feel like 6 years is still not long enough for me to say, definitively that we are a great business. I still got a lot to climb to say, my business is great. And when I do that, it's going to basically give me the time to go ahead and move on to the next big thing. So anywho, so that's basically what my journey looked like. It was peaks and valleys of debt, but cash flow, this big thing right over here, this cash flow kept going up higher than the debt ever did. And I would never, ever put ourselves into the realm of saying cash flow was lower than the debt itself. I would not want to put myself and my family into that. That's just one of those things that, there's this misconception that you need to put yourself into a very large amount of debt to be successful. You really don't need to do that. You just need to be smart about it. And so that's why we're here, right? So with that being said, yes, the house is paid off. The debt is, the credit card debt is gone. That's more than it's 6 figures. I'm not going to disclose exactly how much, but believe me, the first figure is more than 1. Okay. The auto lease is pretty much gone. By the way, I'm having this dilemma right now because we now have the opportunity to move up to Beaverton, Oregon, and we have 2 months left on the lease. No, July. So 3 months left. 3 months left on the lease. And then I went ahead and checked the valuation on the lease. We owed $25,000, to buy it outright. But I just went ahead and prepaid the rest of the lease. So it's no longer our issue, except since we only have $25,000 left on the lease, I checked out the valuation, and according to Kelley Blue Book, we're running around $36,000 to $40,000.
See, this is happening a lot with cars right now. It never used to be where you were up on a lease like this. It did not always happen this way. Most of the time it's like didn't make sense half the time to buy the car.
Yes.
But no other time had some fun, excitement stuff like we've had in the last 2 years. So since cars are out of control, it sounds like you might be wanting to, you going to go ahead and pull the trigger on that? I mean, it makes sense.
I might, because shipping it from here to I was about to say England. Man, that's where my mind is right now. Shipping it here to Beaverton, Oregon, or Portland, Oregon, is going to cost around like $2,600. Maybe rates went up due to the fact that oil is going up and everything like that, so they're probably going to tack that on. But I think that's worth it, because if we end up keeping it and then trading it in for a new vehicle, we may get a lot of the value back. into that, into that trade. I mean, it's only 25 grand. It's not that much right now.
There's a lot that could be done with that. So, I mean, you could always just buy it and then resell it.
Yeah. Or trade it in, either way we do it. I do want to get a new vehicle, but now we're starting to worry about the whole semiconductor shortage and everything like that. Finding out that a lot of vehicles that are supposedly brand new, they're shipping without certain features and stuff. So it's really hard for me to say, we should buy a new car when we're done with this lease. Honda has said that we could actually extend the lease agreement. The only reason why it's worth more right now is because we are like 10,000 miles less than the agreed upon miles. So we're at like 24,000 when the agreed upon miles on it is 36,000. So lots of good things with this. I'm not sure what to do. And one of these days I will, take a bite at that. Maybe I should ask you, because you're so well versed in vehicles and such, and or selling of them and whatnot. So we might have to talk about that later. But yeah, anyway,
so from 25,500. 500 right in your pocket right now, Richie.
I'll take my chance with a trade. Nice. So yeah, so here's the journey. That's the journey of where I'm at. It's just a huge milestone that we hit. I could definitively say that, yes, this velocity banking strategy 100% works, because it worked before. I tell that story about paying off $36,000 of student loan and credit card debt in 6 months and being debt free at that moment, except that we still had our mortgage. It's the same thing. It felt like, everything was working correctly. It was working according to the consult, the plan that was laid out for us. Are specifically for us. Yes, I saw an introduction and it said that, this person would be able to pay off this house and be debt free in 7 years or something like that. But of course, I was very skeptical and said, that's not my numbers. My numbers are way different. So what would my numbers be? And they said 12 to 13 years. And I'm like, celebration. That is amazing. Let's do it. I was all like this. And I couldn't sleep for the next, 3 nights because of the plan that was laid out. So if you're looking to see that plan laid out, then I'm going to invite you to something here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, Ray. I'm going to invite you to this website over here, this wonderful website we call WiseGuysInTies.com. Okay. WiseGuysInTies.com brings us over to this great website that Ray put together. And you see that we have our business credit funding and our personal credit velocity banking strategies lined up over here. When you click on any of the links, it'll take you to an introduction of how we do what we do on the things that we do. So for example, let me go ahead and take you to this, and let me turn it down because I think it starts out pretty loud. This little guy over here talking about velocity banking and how it could work for you. And what we offer are these, different courses, I guess you could say. Course number 1 is basically, hey, here's a book that's worth every single penny, if not more. Holy moly. This book is worth so much more. Where are you at? I think my daughter took it, but this book is worth so much more than what Ray is charging for. And, it can actually put you on the path to making it work for you. But again, these are all not so much I would say it's more detail oriented than anything you've probably ever seen about velocity banking, due to the fact that Joey put so much detail, so much work in what he felt was important to, show, which I believe 100% is all that should work for a person, if they got that book and started using it for their own situations. The next thing is the Velocity Banking online courses. Now, we have now, and I'm going to show you this very, very soon. We have now 7 debt pay down videos on here. That's the basic part of it. And whoever gets into this has lifetime access to it. It's not like some subscription fee or anything like that. And the more we put into it, the more value becomes, because I'm going to be adding more as we go. We're going to be adding more wealth building strategies, more debt pay down strategies, everything like that. We're going to add more to this, and the price is going to stay the same for those who get into it right now. And as you can see, you can see the price slashing. That yes, it is definitely worth 500, 100% worth more than that. It's just that we want more people to have access to it, and so for pretty much the change you could find in your stash account, you could get yourself into this. And then last but not least, of course, is the roadmap. One-on-one with me will take you through each and every single detail for your specific situation. So let me give you an example. I just went ahead and did a one-on-one with a gentleman who's been part of our real estate investing education for the longest time. And, he's pulled some really cool tricks in Velocity Banking already. He's just never had a one-on-one consult before, but he's done some really cool things. But for some reason, he just felt, well, what's next? I'm stuck. What's next? I'm stuck. The things that I've learned on paper, or even some videos that he watched, from different places, just did not get him over a certain hump that he needed to get over. And so I decided, you know what, let me do like a really quick free consult for you, just to, run your numbers and see how you do. And of course, I didn't go through all the details, because this is a free pre-consult that I do for members who want to, see if it'll work for them. And so for 30 minutes, I ran through his numbers real quick. We just went down the details, and I just basically showed him, well, if you do what I think you should do, and here's another option, this is what it would look like. And then when he saw it, yeah, he should be able to pay off in 6 years, 100%. All his debt, his home debt, his real estate debt, just pretty much everything. And his jaw dropped. His jaw dropped. He's like, why can I not figure that out? So, well, because there's certain things that you specifically need to do than what some video is teaching you to do. And I, proceeded to give him an idea of how that looked. And he's all like, okay, I'm going to book my one-on-one with you in the next couple of weeks. Our whole group right now is in Utah right now doing a national conference. And I opted out this year because of everything that's been going on. I mean, with closing of the sale, on the flip property that I'm about to do, this milestone that we did with my personal finances, and losing a few friends early this year has just been making it so hard for me to just cut and make time for the national conference. But I will be there next year, definitely. It's just that I want to focus on the future, and here we are. So it's really neat to be able to share that with somebody who's already known about velocity banking, who's already been practicing velocity banking according to some video that they've learned from, except that, again, they hit that brick wall. And to get over that, we had to run his consultation, his one-on-one roadmap. And now he's prepared to make that next step to pay everything off in 6 years, including the house that he's living in. So I'm super excited for him. It's just been really a great pleasure to get these inquiries from people just hitting me up on Facebook Messenger and saying, "Hey, Richie, I was wondering if I could get a consult from you." So I got another one scheduled for Tuesday, just a regular see how it fit for you type of consult. To one of our other real estate investing members. I mean, it's amazing how many people out there who have access to current information out there still need that guidance, that one-on-one guidance. And that's what we're here for. I don't think anybody else offers a more detailed, process to make this work. And hey, you're working with somebody who's 100% debt free as of March 31st, 4:55 p.m. 2022. So, I like to make sure that we practice what we preach here, Ray. So
I have a
worth
good
it.
friend who is a financial advisor, and he is terrible at making financial decisions. So just because you have a degree in it, sometimes you don't implement the strategies accordingly. Same with every type of education. You can know what to do, but a lot of times it's a lot, um, sometimes we don't follow what we know is best.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because each and every person has that opportunity, and so everybody here has that opportunity too, to really reach out there. The only way it won't work is if you either choose not to do it, or you quit.
Yeah. Right on. So let me show you those videos real quick. I mean, I'm just going to kind of give you a snapshot on of it. So whoever joins our second tier, you'll have access to logging in over here. And what will happen is you'll open up these different two different programs as of this moment. Again, there's going to be more modules, I guess, after we go through them all. But right now we have the first, debt payoff module, and then next I'll be adding the wealth building modules here very soon. We have quite a bit to
So the
upload.
update's actually tonight.
Oh,
So
see,
there will
awesome.
be 7 new lessons at basically at midnight.
That's
Pacific time.
excellent. So thank you so much for Ray. So as you can see, you could actually go to the content on the left over here, and press the down button to open it up, and then you'll see the videos. From here you could click in. There you go. So here's the content, and here's the first video, 26 minutes long. And once you press start there, amazing opening. Looks like Tucson. I don't know what city that is. And here's Richie teaching about the cash flow profile calculator, the first lesson of figuring your numbers out. And then we go through all the different types of calculators out there: building credit, advanced calculations, and then line of credit calculations. But yeah, there's going to be more added to this: how to pay off a house, how to pay off a student loan, how to use a strategy to build wealth, and all these different facets. It's so much content that we got to upload here pretty soon. And so take your time on it. It's not going to go away. Just take your time on it. Create the ideas that you need to, power through what you're dealing with right now. And take those next steps. And if you still are running into roadblocks from there, the one-on-one consults are totally available for us to commit to and make work for you. I'm very honest with everybody, whoever does a one-on-one consult. And this is the reason why I do a 30-minute pre-consult. If there are issues that are going to prevent you from reaching that specific goal of debt pay down, or even wealth building for that matter, that that we actually dig up when we do our 30-minute consult, then I'm going to give you a roadmap from there to get to the point where you could then schedule your official one-on-one consult, which is about 2 hours long. And that official one will actually teach you exactly what to do. No, it's not about, I'm just going to give you some calculations and then, go out there and, be somebody. It's, here's the roadmap. This is the bank that you want to go to, or this bank or this bank. These are the words that you're going to say to the banker to let them know what you need and want, and make sure that this is, set up correctly. This is the type of bank product that you're going to need to tie to the checking account that you currently have with whatever bank that you have. It's like so much detail. And then from there, we go through movement of money. We go through alignment of bills. We go through all the really amazing things that this specific strategy takes advantage of and puts you in the right place from then on out. You'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. You'll have your roadmap. And I hope that every single one of our clients walk away from that webinar with this. And you will also have access to the calculators that we just ran through on a Google Drive I assigned to you specifically. And you'll also have a recording of the meeting, the 2-hour video where if you needed reference or you needed to go back and look for something, you could go into that video and then scrub through it and find the thing that we talked about to take that next step. And then, of course, you have my number. You get to have my number so you could text me or call me if you have any issues or any specific questions pertaining to the plan that was laid out. Now, keep this in mind too, that sometimes people may need more time than the 2 hours, and I'm cool with that. Sometimes we run a little bit over just to make sure that that plan is laid out. But let's say we started your roadmap, that 2 hours is done, and you needed to change it drastically. Like you had to shift your plan to something totally different from what we originally laid out. Well, then you'll have a per hour basis with me that costs a lot cheaper than the initial consult. So keep that in mind, that that's also offered as well. And considering the fact that and sometimes I don't like comparing, but I might as well. When I first did my first consult, remember when I first started feeling like this, I spent $4,000. No, actually, I'm sorry, $5,000 to do that one time. Okay. And that, although it was with a local company and, it all worked out, and I am so grateful. I am so grateful to be paying that type of fee for what I've learned. I mean, look, 6 years later, here we are, right? I mean, was it worth it? Heck yeah. But I don't want you to have to pay that much, understanding that there was a lot of resources put into it. They have a location, they have a bunch of employees, they have, a server, a CRM, and all these other things that they got to pay for. So it makes sense that a business runs like that. I'm totally agreeable for that. But since we pretty much, me and Ray, we kind of put something together that's just, low cost. It's low overhead to make this work. Then we're passing the savings on to every single client that we process. And make sure that they become mind blown and given their roadmap and given their path. So you are saving a lot of money with us. Just throwing that out there. Aside from all the interest and the time and the stress that you'll be saving a lot of money. So just wanted to share that, Ray. And I can't think of anything else unless you have something.
No, Richie, I just want to say thank you for sharing that. Congratulations, because this is really a completion of really the first two main levels, and now you're on to continuing your wealth building. Now, wealth building has been done up to this point, but there's the floodgates are open, as we'd like to say. So
absolutely,
watching just the next year unfold. And each time we come meet, we're going to be talking about what's currently taking place, so everyone can kind of stay up to date with what's happening, both in just the financial markets and what's also happened in the most current velocity banking. And yeah, sounds good to me.
Excellent.
Well, folks, I want to appreciate you, everyone, for being here tonight. Richie, thank you again for sharing your story and your wisdom. And we will actually be live again next week, 7 p.m., same channel. And we will be bringing you some new developments, which will be really exciting. And we look forward to seeing you there. Go ahead and head over to Wise Guys and Ties and get started in your own velocity banking course.
For that, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Those who have been a part of this for more than a year and a half, and me getting over my fear of being online and teaching people this thing, I definitely feel it was worth it. So more to come. So super excited.
Good night, everybody, and God bless.